Other news now. Ottawa says it will stand behind its commitment to replace the aging Air Force's Sea King helicopters. The federal government is moving forward with its plan to buy 28 CH-148 Cyclone helicopters for $5.7 billion. The plan to replace the 50-year-old Sea Kings is years behind schedule and has been set by technical problems and a ballooning price tag. Canadian Forces expects to replace the Sea Kings with the new Cyclone helicopters by 2018. Michael Geoghegan is a political consultant, and he joins us on the line from Victoria. Michael, thank you very much for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So this word about these choppers, how urgent is it for the Canadian Forces to get these into play?
Well, first of all, the Sea King was an amazing helicopter, but it was an amazing helicopter half a century ago. And although in avionics, we rebuild airframes and whatnot, I mean, the airframes themselves are aging out. And, originally we had a helicopter replacement program that was first undertaken in the 1980s. Then it was canceled by the Chrétien government. And then the Paul Martin government is the one that undertook the current contract, which was supposed to have new helicopters to us by 2008, and we're still waiting on them.
Considering the deep cuts in the defense budget over the last year or so and continuing, is this surprising that this deal is still going ahead?
No, simply because it's a program that has been cut before. It is a program that has been delayed decades, and so I'm not actually surprised, because it just would have been a facepalm moment if this particular program was once again canceled. Once again, taxpayers were on the hook for, many millions of dollars in cancellation fees. So I think the government made the right decision in continuing forward.
Also in politics this week, we had the political character of the year in Rob Ford making so much news in 2013 and kicking off 2014 full steam ahead.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a clear case of whether the fame outweighs the shame. He is probably the highest profile politician in Canada now, thanks to all his references on late night American television. So, you'll never have a candidate with higher profile. He's going to run on his track record of having saved Torontonians money. The important thing is that he tones down some of his more outlandish behavior. I think he's got a real shot at getting back in, but he's going to have to dial it down a bit.
Don't some of the challengers out there, wouldn't they see him as someone easy to pick off, considering?
I think it's a thing where he's going to be harder. The Ford Nation, the culture split between downtown Toronto and suburban Toronto. I've heard names such as Olivia Chow of the NDP looking at taking a run. Absolutely. If someone like her took a run at it, she would be an extremely strong contender. But again, when people get into the voting booth, do they want Rob Ford may embarrass them, but if the other person's going to end up costing them more in taxes, it's like, what matters more, your pocketbook or appearances? So it could shape up to be a very interesting race.
Now, also on the federal front, what do you think is going to be a bigger priority for Ottawa? Would it be the free trade deal with Europe, which Stephen Harper was tweeting about at the beginning of the week, or the pipeline in the United States?
Oh, that is a good conundrum. I would say the answer is that they're both important. I think, however, if Keystone is stopped, then I think it's a thing where you're going to see the Harper government putting even more emphasis on trade with other nations, such as Europe, such as Asia, and what have you. And clearly, one thing that Europe points to is a situation where our demographics, the challenges we face in some ways are more similar to a lot of European countries than it is to the United States. So, the challenge is for us to keep those middle class jobs, those manufacturing jobs here in Canada, and not exporting them abroad as they've done down south.
Michael, thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.